Your contractor dumped you. There's only one thing worse than getting dumped by your boyfriend, and it is getting dumped by your contractor. Let's talk about one of the biggest renovation fears in Malaysia: contractors running away. You start your renovation, you think things are going well, you're starting to trust each other and be honest with each other, and then he disappears. Tiles half done, paint still drying on the wall, WhatsApp blue tick. So why did this happen? After working with thousands of renovation projects at Recommend.my, I can tell you that there are 3 reasons why your contractor has run away. Reason number 1, contractor cash flow problem. Contractors run multiple projects at the same time. When he collects deposits from project A, that deposit is used to buy materials for project A and also pay the workers to start working, but he's also using that money to fund any shortfall in project B, C or D, and vice versa. Everything goes well until there is one severe delay in one project, and then this entire financial juggling act kind of falls apart. He doesn't pay the workers, they don't turn up. He doesn't pay the suppliers, they stop delivering your materials. You realize there is a delay, and then you start asking and micromanaging him, and then it becomes too stressed for him, and he says, cannot be bothered to finish this project, I'm going to run away. How do you avoid this? The first one is don't pay too much upfront. For small projects, it's okay to pay up to 50% upfront, but for large projects that's more than 100,000 ringgit, never pay more than 35% upfront. The rest of the payments then should be phased based on milestone completions, and always maintain at least 10% for retention, to be only paid when the scope of work is completed. If you don't know how to manage this properly, there's a free service from Recommend.my to manage this for you. We will help you define the timeline, ensure that all payments are kept until the contractor completes the milestone, and then only this money is released to the contractor. In 12 years of operating, we have never had a contractor run away. Reason number 2, the contractor quote was too cheap. You get 4 contractors to come to your site and give you a quote. 3 of them quoted 60 to 70,000 ringgit. 1 of them quote 45,000 ringgit. Who will you pick? Definitely the cheap one, right? So he starts work, everybody is very optimistic, and then as he goes along, he realizes actually your expectations were higher than that. That's why the other guys quoted 60 to 70,000 ringgit. So then he had to order more expensive materials than what he expected. He needed to use more skilled technicians, and very soon he realizes actually this project not much money to be made one. And if he continues the project, he would then need to come back again and again to serve the warranty. It is at a point where he does this calculation in his head and he says, better if I run away. So what happens then? The next day, he takes all his workers, puts them in project B, and you never see him again. How do you avoid this? Don't always choose the cheapest quote. There is a saying, that good things not cheap and cheap things not good. It is true in many respects. When you get a quote from a contractor, make sure you go through it line by line, know exactly what he is providing and what he's not providing. And in doing so, you will know that if there are certain assumptions that you had and he had that were different, and be able to bridge this before you select him and pay him the money. Look for quotes that are detailed and realistic. If you need help with doing this, Recommend.my has a free service that can help you go through your contractor's quotes and benchmark them to make sure that they are reasonable. There's no point in hiring them and hopefully, get a very good deal. If they really cannot make the margin work, they will really cut corners. And you will only realize 1 year later when your sewage line has too many corners, and then, the stuff gets stuck along the way, and your pipe is leaking all over your ceiling. Don't wait until the shit hits the fan. Reason number 3, you are a pain in the... Honestly, I get it. It's not easy to know everything up front and define everything so clearly and communicate that to another person. Sometimes on site, you look at things and you think, this is not what I imagined in my head, and you tell the guy, this one can move 2 inches to the left, and this shade of oyster grey was not what I imagined. Can you change it to dove grey or not? Also, since the workers are already on site, can you please help me move things from this room to the other room, and might as well help me install my bed since you're all here already. Changes are okay, but also know that contractors are paid on a daily basis. If you keep asking them to change or add unexpected items to their scope, they will not be able to finish their job on time. And if this delays from day to day, the master contractor will then need to pay them to complete the job, and very soon he can see his margin eroding. The timeline will also get delayed, and then boom, project is in a mess. So be wary that any changes that you make on site will delay your timeline and potentially cause the contractor to not be able to handle your project anymore. So in other words, contractors are a little bit like boyfriends. At the beginning, he memang don't intend to run away. He thinks this one can handle one, and then along the way he realizes that there's a little bit of a gap between what he expected and what you were expecting. He won't even say okay thanks bye. He will just move all his workers from your project to project B and then blue tick you forever. Don't say we didn't tell you.